I wanted to be in the industry. I was very exhibitionist, as you could say, and I danced, I done all the PR, and for me it was always going to be a natural progression, but then I had the kids, so then obviously I came away from the industry. But in doing so, I completely lost myself. My sexuality was the biggest part of me. Our sexual energy is so potent in male, female, no matter what. It's such a potent energy, so it's our life source. We're here because of sex. This is why we are around. So for me, when I became a mum, I came away from the industry and I lost myself completely, because I had the internalised belief that women, when they have kids, you stop being sexy. So I stopped looking like myself. I stopped doing makeup. I stopped doing tan. I stopped wearing what I wanted to wear. And I had this belief, no, this is you now. You've got kids and you're not allowed to do that. And I also had a lot of people very abruptly say, oh, well, you can't be a model now. You know, that's it, done. And I believed them. And it led me to depression.
Meghan O'Neill, what a pleasure it is to have you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
I reached out to you because I saw an interview that you had done on television, and I thought that there's a lady who speaks very articulately about OnlyFans, very openly, and I suppose dispelling a lot of myths about the type of person that goes on to an OnlyFans and would do that kind of job as a career, I suppose. Is that it? Can you tell me a little bit about how you got into it?
So I was always everybody knows me and my personality is very scandalous. I've always been very open, very out there. When I was 15, I started modelling. When I was 18, I turned straight to glamour modelling. I wanted to be in the industry. I was very exhibitionist, as you could say, and I danced, I done all the PR, and for me it was always going to be a natural progression, but then I had the kids, so then obviously I came away from the industry. But in doing so, I completely lost myself. My sexuality was the biggest part of me. Our sexual energy is so potent in male, female, no matter what. It's such a potent energy, so it's our life source. We're here because of sex. We're here. This is why we are around. So for me, when I became a mum, I came away from the industry and I lost myself completely, because I had the belief, I had the internalised belief that women, when they have kids, you stop being sexy. So I stopped looking like myself. I stopped doing makeup. I stopped doing tan. I stopped wearing what I wanted to wear. And I had this belief, no, this is you now. You've got kids and you're not allowed to do that. And I also had a lot of people very abruptly say, oh, well, you can't be a model now. You know, that's it, done. And I believed them. And it led me to depression. I mean, I lost myself. I didn't know who I was. I was just mummy. And obviously that's my first job and it always will be the most important. But for me, I was so unhappy that they were just watching me unhappy. And for me as a mum, it's like, I left my relationship at the time because I was not in love with the person. There's a lot of other reasons. But for me, I always think if I want my kids to do the best in life that they can do, I'm going to mirror for them what they need to see. So for me, the relationship had to end because I thought I don't want my kids growing up thinking this is love, because it's not. Now I'm not in love with this person. There was a lot of reasons obviously as to why it broke down other than that. But for me, I'm like, I want my kids to see me happy, and especially now that I have a daughter, I don't want her to have the internalised belief that when you become a mum, or if you become a mum, that's it, you're done. So for me, it was like, no, I need to go out here and prove that I can still be everything that I want to be, mum or not.
Okay, and how old is your youngest then?
My youngest is 6 and my oldest is 8.
Okay, so when did you go back into the industry?
So February.
Okay, so it's this recent.
I stayed at home the whole time until my youngest then went to school. So I was a stay-at-home mum for 5 years. 7 years I suppose, because obviously he went after her. And I then opened my own gym. So my background's in fitness. So I started a degree in philosophy and psychology, and that was my path. And then I fell back into the fitness industry. A local gym said to me, I want you to work with me. And I was like, are you sure? I'm out of the fitness industry now. He was like, no, come on back. And then my gym business flew, and I opened my own gym within 5 months, a female only gym, private, and it's still on the go. So I went straight back into business. And then I sat with myself because I still didn't feel fulfillment through that. And I sat with myself, and it was actually in a meditation session that I said to myself, if you could do anything in the world and you didn't have to weigh the opinions of other people, what would you do? And I just came back to I would love to be a porn star. So for me, I was like, right, OnlyFans is a stepping stone. Get back in. get back into the industry. You've been a glamour model before, you know the industry.
What does glamour modelling mean? Is it topless modelling?
So
for
glamour
pictures?
modelling, yeah, topless modelling.
Okay.
You can do implied topless, so you might be implied nude. You might have, you know, everything off, but you're covering yourself. So that's the level to which I went. Now I did do topless, but they were never published. They were just for me. That was pre-boobs as well, so there was nothing.
What
There
do you
was
mean
nothing there.
pre-boobs? Okay, so pre-boob job.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's just, I always
What
laugh.
size are they now, can I ask?
They're a 26J.
Holy mother.
But they don't
of
look it. You can't see
God.
them. You can see them on. I mean, you can
I saw
see
them
them
online. I
Yeah.
subscribed to your channel last night because I'm very much into my research and I
course.
like to research my guests. So I
Thoroughly.
thought I'm going to
You've seen my
subscribe.
insides.
I have. So, but 26, that means you're tiny.
Tiny
like
little
you're
back.
5'2", you have
Yeah.
a tiny wee back, and
Yeah.
you've got big double J's.
Yep. Just
Are they,
J's, yeah.
just J.
Just
Okay, so,
J's.
excuse me, just J. Are they not sore on your back?
No, I don't notice them.
Okay.
Never.
When did you get them done?
So I had the first boob job when I was 24 and they went to a double E.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the second one in 2020, just before COVID hit. I went to Turkey and had them done. And I absolutely I preferred my surgery in Turkey to I did in the UK.
Okay.
So I went, but they're ruptured. So I have to get them done again.
Okay. So the silicone is ruptured, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that they deflate, does it?
No,
It just
no,
means
no.
that
So the way the silicone implants are made now is that if they rupture, your body encapsulates it straight away. So the reason I found out that I had a rupture was because I found a lump and I went to the doctor and the GPs rushed me through. You know, I was writing my will. I was like, okay, I've got breast cancer, I'm dying. I'm hypochondriac anyway. So I was like, yep, that's it. I'm dying. Told everybody, that's me, dead. And they were like, no, you've actually got the MRI. You've got a rupture. And both of them. And I don't know how it happened. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I don't have any symptoms other than that one lump. 0 symptoms. So the silicone doesn't move anywhere in your body. The hard lump was my body encapsulating it.
Okay.
So like I can wait to get them done. Now I'm going to get them done next year just to have them done. And
it's not an absolute necessity to get them done immediately though for health reasons at all. Okay. So you didn't do glamour modelling before you got the boob job, did you?
Yes.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was just flat as a pancake.
But you're a very pretty lady, so I'm sure you still
it's
did
all
a
about
very
my
good
bum
job.
then.
It was all about your bottom, okay. I'm sure we all know where the bottom goes once the babies come too, so we need to work on those glutes, don't we? Yes. So February, you were like, right, I'm going to go into OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And you say that you were always very sexual. Sometimes you hear about people in the porn industry, they say that they go into it because it's almost like they're taking back control of their body. They may have been abused as a child, or they may have had inappropriate advances with people. So then they feel,
assaulted,
I'm going to go and do this and I'm going to take control of my body. Was that something that happened to you?
So I was sexually abused when I was a child. I would say that definitely sexualized me in a way that obviously other kids didn't have. So I was open to sex at a very young age. Now I went through EMDR therapy to basically heal from that.
What is EMDR therapy?
Oh, it's like, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's like rapid eye movement. So it's all to do with your bilateral stimulation of the eyes and tapping at the same time to then process your subconscious thoughts, things you've forgotten, to then reprocess them. So you go in and you do that. I done it for weeks and weeks and we stalled and I couldn't do it. And it was horrendous going back into that memory to try and reprocess it. Okay. But whenever you finally reprocess it, you look at it in a different way. All the shame, all the dirty feelings, they're away, they're gone. I now look at it like I'm looking at a child and I feel compassion and love for my inner child. So I had to go back and meet my inner child as well. So I done all of that to then heal. And it was after, because I got the question on another podcast, did you go into OnlyFans because you hate yourself? And it was like, it wasn't from a place of self-loathing. Yeah. It was from a place of self-love. I loved myself and then I felt like I wanted to share my sexuality with the world. And unfortunately, I get paid a lot of money for that. So it's hitting 2 birds with 1 stone.
Okay. And so you have put to bed that childhood experience. Yes. Okay. I almost feel like we need to give that a moment because I suppose it just, even the fact that you said it so matter-of-factly is quite jarring for someone, you know, that kind of way. What age were you when that happened?
7.
God, you poor little thing.
And then I was raped when I was 24. So that's another sort of instance. But I've had lots of instances. I actually spoke on my Instagram last night. I was actually sexually assaulted by a footballer and I've never come out and said it. And I would never tell who it was because I think it was so normalised that sort of thing happened growing up that at the time, and it still doesn't bother me because I laughed at him. And I was just like, oh, you're a creep. But looking back, I'm like, that was sexual assault. But at the time, I was just like, oh, you're a creep, get away. So I've had all these sort of unfortunate events of, sexual assault and abuse and rape. And I went through therapy to heal all that before I made the decision, because you have to come from a place of loving. You have to love yourself to go into any sort of porn industry, the adult industry. You have to love yourself. Otherwise, you're going on a slippery slope and your mental health will be shot.
Yeah.
At the end of it, you have to know who you are. You have to be able to stand firm and know who you are within really deeply, because one comment will shake you if you don't. And I mean, when you go into the industry as a female, because I know male stars that have kids and that go into it and they don't even say they've kids. On my bio, I say I'm a mum. Men's bios don't say they're a dad, because it's like, who cares? The male models and whatever you want to call them, stars, they don't get it. Females get it. We get the hate. We get the online comments. We get the shit, really. So you have to make sure that it's something you want to do.
And who are you getting the hate from mainly? Is it men or women?
I get a lot of hate from both. A lot of hate from men and women. I think it's actually... I don't think one is worse than the other. I think whenever I'm trying to think of it, I'm like, I've had a lot of bullshit from females. A lot of the comments online are from men. So men will write silly comments. They don't go out of their way to write statuses about you, but the females will. So the females will take stuff and write statuses about you.
What does that mean, writing a status about you?
So they'll take my content, they'll share it about, they'll go onto their profiles. I've had statuses written about not having ADHD. But it was never about the ADHD. We all know they just wanted to get at me.
Okay.
It was, there's a lot on both sides. A lot of men just slabber about what you look like and about how you're a whore and a slut and God love the kids. It's mostly it's very ad hominem fallacy. Is that the right pronunciation? Men are going to argue about how you look, whereas females will attack your character. And try and attack your motherhood aspect of your life.
Well, that's the source of the most pain that you could ever...
So
if you're going to attack a woman about anything and you attack about her children, that's going to be the source, the thing that gives her the most...
Females are more tactical in their approach, whereas men are just like, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You look like this, you look like a man, your lips are fake.
But sure, you're not pretending that you don't have fillers in your lips. You're not.
I know. But I've always had big lips. I've always, before I had filler, I've always got your lips are fake.
Well, you don't look like a man, I'll tell you that for one.
I get it all the time.
Sure, you know that you don't look like a man. It's just...
It's bullshit. It's just bullshit. I have no interest in it. I don't look at myself as my appearance. Because I am very deep. I turned to Buddhism 10 years ago, so I look at people, I see their souls and their energies before I see their appearance. Yes, I can see if they're beautiful, if they're stunning, but I think everybody's beautiful. And I think that every person on this earth, there's 3 words I don't let my kids use, and it's fat, ugly and stupid. We don't use those words in the house. They know that they're bad words. They would say a curse word before they don't swear either, which I do a lot. I swear like a sailor and they don't. But they would be more, if you said those words, you're not allowed to say that. You know, we don't use the word ugly. We don't class people as ugly or beautiful. Everybody's beautiful. So for me, comments on my appearance is hilarious, because I'm like, this is just literally skin deep. This is nothing to what I am.
Okay.
So I don't even take on.
Okay. And then, so you joined in February and you are now one of the 1% top content creators. How do you get to that level? Is it just popularity? Popularity.
It's all about exposure. It's all about the work that you do. There's been people in it longer than me that haven't got to that level, but I think it's because I'm from a very small place and people were like, oh my God, Meghan O'Neill's doing this. We need to see. But a lot of people would have said to me, you know, it'll boost and then it'll drop off, but it never did. It stayed consistent with me. And in fact, it only grew in popularity. Now I'm still growing. And I think it's because I am so passionate about it. It is work that I love and I enjoy. And I think when you put energy into anything passionately, you'll get that back. So I put like my heart and soul into it. And then you reap what you sow.
And how many subscribers do you have, roughly?
I've got over 500 at the minute. Now, it does go up. It can sometimes hit the 1,000 mark and then I'll drop back. I sit around 500. So that's the rough estimate. It never really drops below that. But it's like any business. Whatever you put in, you get out. So for the past month, I haven't been working on it. I haven't put out any new content because I am waiting to collab. So I'm waiting on that content. So, and obviously getting back to schools and just my own personal life was too busy. So in the past month, I have noticed a little bit of a decline, but I'm still in the top 1%. So I don't need to worry about it.
And how much money do you earn a month then?
Up
Roughly.
to the most I've ever earned is 10 grand.
Okay.
But that's not every month.
No. Okay.
And I said that to a reporter and he times that by 12 and give the 120 grand or 120,000 a year. And I was kind of like, my mummy and daddy were like, what? And I was like, no, that's not right. I haven't even been in it a year. So that's the most I've ever earned. But there is no cap on the potential that you can earn. So it's all about exposure. It's all about publicity. It's all about getting yourself out there.
Okay. And you just mentioned your mum and dad there now. So what do they think of your job?
My daddy is my biggest support. My daddy is very open-minded. He always has been. My mum's a little bit more reserved. So she will openly say to people, I would rather that's not what she did, but as long as she's happy and she's safe and she's looking after her kids. So they just don't want to hear about it. They're just like, as long as I don't see it, as long as I don't hear about it, but nobody has ever approached them about it. My mum and daddy are very well respected within the community we live in. So people aren't going to walk up to them and be like, your daughter's this, your daughter's that, because they just wouldn't do it. My mum and dad are such nice people that a lot of people just respect them and they're never going to walk up to them and say, oh, your daughter's this, your daughter's that. Because I've actually never had anybody approach me on the street and say anything negative. It's all online. It's all behind closed doors.
Thing, isn't it? It's very few people would actually come up to your face and say what they might say about you online.
Yeah.
Which is why this whole keyboard warrior thing, people hiding behind screens, is so unfortunate. Because I actually think that they don't realise the damage that they can do to people.
They can. I've had everything. I have had everything. One of the videos of another podcast went viral. There was, all in all, there was about 7 million views on one of the podcast pieces, and the comments I got day and daily, the messages, it was consistent. I still get them. It was about 100 messages a day, and now it's dropped back to maybe 10 or 20. And comments, it's horrendous. And I think that it's funny because when the likes of Caroline Flack unfortunately committed suicide, everybody's will be kind, but then that fades away and people just come back to being nasty. But with being Buddhist, I see the deeper issue. I don't see, but people can't present to me with anger. If I haven't done anything, then I will not take it on. And I'm like, nope, you're not. Your energy is not pushing my boundaries. You're not even gonna get near me with that energy, because I am so well protected with my own energy that I'm like, it's not happening. But you are human, and whilst I have those sort of boundaries up, sometimes the comments do get a lot. So I'm very resilient, and I always say that I can handle it. There are times where people don't see, where I do sit and cry and I question myself, because my thing is that I have a bigger mission. My mission is about pushing this. Females can do whatever they want and nobody can say no. Like this idea of that I'm in the industry, and it is so, people hate it because they're like, there's a female, like it's so much deeper. It's not, you don't hate it because of my kids. You don't hate it because it's bad. You hate it because it's so deep within our culture to be like, females can't do this and females can't do that and sex is bad and it's so shameful. So my bigger mission is that, and I always keep that in the forefront of my mind, I want to change the way for females, especially here in Ireland, to be able to do what they want. Now, I'm not going to push anybody into the industry. A lot of people are very, if you talk about it, you're so open about it, young girls are going to see the money figures, and I want to go for that. And I'm like, no, I've been offered a substantial amount of money to work with girls 18 and I've declined it. It's not about the money. For me, unless you're mid-20s to late 20s, you don't know, your brain isn't fully formed.
Yeah, your frontal cortex.
Yeah, it's not fully formed. So I'm going, for that reason, I won't work with you. So I don't push people into it, but I do want a safe space for females that actually do want to go into it for the right reasons, that they're allowed to do that. And nobody can turn around and go, nah, you can't do that. And
well, Meghan, for years wasn't the porn industry dominated by men?
Absolutely.
So the pimp and prostitute idea of a man is running a woman's life, she's making all the money and giving most of it to him. That is how the porn industry was run, am I right?
Yeah.
So OnlyFans allows females to do it themselves on their own terms and take all the money for themselves.
Yeah. Other than obviously you have to pay your VAT and your tax and all that.
Well, yeah.
OnlyFans gets a good whack of it.
Does it?
Yeah, 20%.
Does it?
It takes
so it's
20%.
like your agent.
Yeah, 20%.
Okay.
It's probably a man too sitting there going,
Probably is.
of course it is. Fair play to him. He's absolutely owed it.
He is minted.
Yeah.
So this is like the fight back. Like
I
you
am.
see it.
Yeah, I am fighting back. And that's why I was saying there are times where I sit and my daddy actually said something to me that I keep just replaying in my head. Any female in history that's had to make a change has had to sit and cry and think, is this worth it? Is this worth it? Yeah, he was like, I'm sure that every female that's ever made a change in anything has sat at points like you are now and went, is this honestly worth it? Because there are times where it gets too much and I sit and go, am I doing the right thing? Is this worth it? And then I remember the bigger picture. Like I feel it so deep in my core that it's not about me just going out and having sex and putting it online. It's the whole thing around it. It's the shame. It's that I want to support other females. Like in the pipeline, I do want to set up, you know, charities or whatever it may be to support females that want to go into the industry. But there will be like a process. You'll have to sit down and you'll have to go like, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. It's not going to be, come here and I'll be your pimp and I'll get you into it. Mm-hmm. It's going to be, I'm going to be there to support you. And if I can't, then I'm going to set up people or psychologists or therapists to support you. My vision is bigger. And I want to do that in Ireland because Ireland's such a backward little small community. Like when I went to Ibiza, people were like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I do OnlyFans. Oh my God, it's amazing. Nobody cared. We were all nudist beaches, sitting, the kids running about. Everybody was naked. Now I wasn't naked. Everybody was running about. Like it was just not a thing. And it's this little small community in Ireland. We're so backward. And it's like, for me, I was put here to change the way this is viewed. And I completely will not accept somebody not respecting me because of my career. A lot of people question my parenting. Not happening. You'll not question my parenting when you don't know how I parent. I'm a fantastic parent. I'm a fantastic mum. And my career doesn't change that. My career will never inhibit the way I parent. In fact, that allows me to be at home with my kids 24/7. I'm with them all the time. I get to bring them anywhere I want in the world. I can do everything with my kids. And I've always been very, very deeply ingrained in my kids' upbringing. I don't just have kids and sprout them out and go see you later. I've constantly been studying child development, studying X, Y and Z to try and make sure that I am the best parent. I reparented myself. I went through a journey of reparenting myself so that I could heal myself to parent my kids. So for me, it's I absolutely will not allow for people to disrespect me because of my career, and that's the change I want to make. I'm being so brazen about the work I do. And at times I do sit at home and go, oh, why did I do that? It's so hard. People are just judging me and saying this. And it is hard. But for me, it's like the first person or first female to do it is the trailblazer. And they get the most shit. And that's what I'm being further on.
I saw something that you put up in your story about that, a book that you're reading about female trailblazers. You stand out, Meghan, I have to say. You're a little bit, for anyone that isn't watching this or hasn't seen any kind of clips on Instagram, Meghan is 5'2". She's very slight. She has long blonde braids and pink braids too, and tattoos, even all the way up her neck. Mm-hmm. And you do stand out. So do you ever worry that, say, you might have men or women, but particularly men, I would think, will become stalkers? They would see you, they might follow you home because they would consider, oh, she's putting herself out there like that, therefore she just wants sex all the time, or she deserves to be assaulted because look, she's asking for it anyway. Do you ever worry about this?
Well, that is obviously the general consensus anyway, that any sort of sex worker is asking for it. But it's also the thing that even if we know here in Ireland and in the UK that rape isn't, 2% go to trial and maybe like 1% get, I don't even know the statistics, but it's a very small amount, and it's very victim blaming. So I'm very trauma informed and I'm very victim blaming informed of, no matter what you do as a female, if you get raped or you're assaulted, it's going to be your fault anyway, no matter what you're wearing, what you're doing. So there obviously is that extra element to it because I am a sex worker and I am in the adult industry. Now, I have had to take different levels of security out so that I can make sure that I am safe. But I'm very good with my personal security anyway. I had a stalker when I was young. I think it was 1920. Now, he went to jail, not for that reason. I didn't even bring him up for it. He stalked me very badly. He would come to my work and it was extreme. So from that, I have always been very, very, very anal about my personal security. anyway. I have cameras up around the house. I have people that my phone is constantly, my tag, my location is always with them at all times. My best friends, stuff like that. I have people that are always there that when I need them. I don't go out anywhere on my own. I'll drive places, but I won't walk anywhere on my own because I am. So, but it's not because of that. It's because of I did have a stalker when I was 20 and that scared me.
Okay.
So I am very weird about my security anyway. I don't give people my number. It's, no, I'm very, very on top of it.
Okay.
But that's a worry, but that's always been a worry for me.
And then does that affect your kids that you be so security conscious that they would see... Obviously, if you're living very security consciously, they can't but see that. Would you worry that they might become overly fearful, or are you happy for them to just see what you do?
I'm very free flowing with them. I'm very fluid with them. I had to sit down with myself whenever they were young and be like, you can't be so controlling and protective of them. They need to go out into the world. I was very like, they can't do this and they can't do this and they can't do this. And I was, people were like, you're going to make your kids really fearful of everything. And I was like, you're right. So I had to step back. And it's awful. As a mum, you'll know yourself, like when they go to school and you're sitting going, oh my God, like they're kind of like growing away from me a wee bit. So it is hard, but I had to do that for my kids. So no, I'm very security conscious for them, but they don't know that I am.
Okay.
So they have
no idea.
They have no idea that mummy's constantly, like I got them watches and I had their locations at all times. Now they were only literally outside playing in the street, but I still had their locations tapped to my phone where I could see where they were at all times. Like I am, yeah,
your poor kids.
Yeah, I know. When they're older, I'll be like, "Where are you?" It's all right because I can see where you're at.
Yeah, you don't even need to ask.
Yeah, so no, I do want to give them privacy, obviously, but they're still at the age where mommy will know where you're at and what you're doing at all times. And because of obviously I was sexually abused as a child, that adds another element of protection. I am so protective. They'll never have sleepovers until they're teenagers. There's never going to be that sort of thing. I've missed out on a lot of family and social events because I won't let other people look after my kids.
And is that because you were abused by someone you knew?
Yes. Unfortunately, most of child abuse, sexual abuse is by somebody that they know. I think it's like the upwards of 80%. So for me, I don't let my kids out of my sight. They go to school and they come home and then I'm with them 24/7. Other than when they're with their daddy, but I am with them.
Okay.
The whole time.
You did touch on the fact that people are concerned about your parenting because of the job that you do. And you did say to me before we came in, people weren't concerned when you were going through a mental health crisis, which is really quite ironic. You're literally at potentially death's door when it comes to mental health.
I didn't think I was going to get out of
shit. Now they're very concerned.
Which is funny because they're not concerned. They don't care. They don't care about my kids. This is the thing. I can see that they don't care. That's just another element of, oh, we're so worried about your kids, but you're not. No, you're not. You don't give a fuck about my kids because my kids are absolutely cared for. And my mummy and daddy are actually very, very on the ball with that. Nobody said to them, but they're very much like, don't question Megan's ability to parent because she's an absolutely fantastic parent and we've witnessed it. So they do not worry about the kids because they're like, we know exactly how you are as a parent. They see how I am with the kids. When I was suicidal for 2 years and I didn't want to be here and I didn't think I would get out of 2022 and people were not fucking interested because I looked normal. It's funny that now that I have started to get the throat tattoos and be very brazen with my career and very brazen with how I look and my online presence and stuff, that, oh, people are worried now that she's taking a mental breakdown. And it's like, people are wild. I took a mental breakdown and nobody was there and I looked like I was going in closing the door and I was just a wee mum and I wasn't expressive with my clothing because I was literally depressing myself for everybody else and so that I would look normal, but it was killing me. And they didn't step in then and care about my kids. They didn't care about my kids. They weren't interested in me or my kids then. It's the minute that I step into my power and go, I'm going to do this. And people are so like, you can't do this and you can't do that. I know you go against the grind and it's like, oh my God, she's losing her mind. And it's like, no, I am actually becoming just more authentic to who I am. And it scares the shit out of people. People don't like it. People fear change. People fear authenticity, the truth.
You make people feel uncomfortable. That's it.
Absolutely.
And people don't like to feel
People
uncomfortable.
don't like that, especially with all my friends. They'll say that exact thing. They're like, you make people feel uncomfortable. One of my best friends will say to me, he's like, when you come into my life, you pushed me to be a better parent, because I would question the way he would do things, and he would think about it and go, you're right. And we're literally best friends now. Like, all my friends around me, I only have 3 best friends because I keep a very, very close knit community.
That's an amazing amount of best friends.
Isn't
and you
it?
can rely on
3
3 people in your
amazing-
life
yeah.
and your parents. You know,
my
who else do
family,
you
I'm
need?
literally my 3 best friends.
But that's the thing. I think that with this, there's this view nowadays that you have like 20,000 million people in your life.
What a load of
You know,
shite. What
the
a
reality
load of
is,
shite.
who could you pick up in a mental health crisis the phone to?
The more friends you have, the more chances you have to be let down. And that sounds really awful and pessimistic to say, but people are arseholes. And that's just, like, I
Does
love
everyone
human
think you want to
beings.
steal their man?
Oh, I hope not. Oh, I hope not. Probably. And I wouldn't, because I'm not flirty. Like, I do what I do, but I'm not a flirtatious person. Like, I'm neurodivergent. I'm very blunt. If I fancy somebody, I'll be like, I like you. I'm not like,
Point at them from across the
come
room.
here, I talk to you. I'll not be like this seductive sort of, nah.
Okay.
And I'm not interested in
There's
your man.
no eyelid batting then?
No.
Or eyelash batting,
I can't,
sorry.
I'm so awkward. So I'm like, I don't want your man. I don't want any man. I love men, but I don't want one. So I'm like, I keep your man to yourself. No.
I just want to be... So your mental health crisis, was it as a result of the depression that you felt after having your kids and not being true to yourself? Was it a bit of postnatal depression?
I had postnatal depression after my son, but I was also going through a really traumatic time with my ex-partner, his daddy. Now, I've spoke about that in the podcast, and he's raging, but another podcast. But we went through a very traumatic time, a very awful relationship, an awful breakdown. Now we're very, very good friends now, and he has a new partner, and she's amazing, and we all got on very, very well. But it was all of it rolled into one. And then I moved away from my family and friends, and I didn't know anybody. I was so anxious that I was just like, who is everybody? Because of my security thing, I was like, I don't know anybody. Like, I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person is. I can't let my kids out because obviously they were very young. But I was like, I don't want them playing with such and such because I don't know who they are. I don't know their backstory. I'm very like that anyway. So that just ruined me. And then I was completely suppressing who I was. And then I moved home, and I thought I knew who I was. And then no, I went through the dark night of the soul where it tore me apart. It's a real spiritual awakening where you have to go in and sit with your shadows. You sit with your demons and you go, holy fuck, you uncover these bits of yourself that you didn't know were there. And it's awful because people don't like to look at themselves in the mirror. And for me, it was like, you need to go through this. And it nearly killed me. It nearly took my life because I was like going through the really intense therapy to stop this sort of resentment that I had towards X, Y, and Z. You know, my brother was murdered, all that sort of thing. I had to go through a lot and sit with myself and feel all of that to then come out of it. So for me, after I went through all that, I literally was like, I nearly died last year. I'm not going to listen to people saying that I can't
live
do
my life. Did you take a medication for it? Or?
So I refused medication. Was like, no, doing the whole don't want to do it. I did that for years. And January of this year, I rang my ex-partner, the father of my children, well, the wee boy, and I rang him and I says, I'm going to commit suicide. Like, I don't want to be here. And he was the one that was like, you need to go to the doctor. Meghan, you've tried now for years. And it was the best thing I ever done.
Okay.
I went on medication, and it literally, it was like the lowest dose of sertraline that I went on. And it just like that, not like that, because you know it takes a few weeks to get in. But when it did, oh my God, just complete difference.
Like a cloud lifting.
Massively. Now, obviously, it doesn't numb me. I would be a very big advocate for it. I'm like, a lot of people would say when they take, you know, antidepressants and stuff that it would numb them, and I'm like, no, I still feel
Some people can't actually orgasm on them, Meghan, but obviously you don't have that problem.
I read about that and I was like, no issue here, it's fine. Okay. I worried about that when I seen it. I was like, oh my God, what the hell? I have a BNF. So I have a BNF. My best friend's a pharmacist, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, I go onto my BNF and like message her, and I'll be like, what's the side effects of these? Can I mix this? Because I'm a triptyline for migraines, so I was like, can I do this and can I do this? I was looking through my BNF, and that was one of the side effects, and I was like, no, this can't happen. Which is hilarious because I actually don't have sex. I don't have any partners. So I'm like, why am I so worried about my sex life? And I don't have any partners. I don't have any men to be sleeping with. I still haven't went into the whole sleeping with somebody on the OnlyFans. Now that will progress to that, but I don't even be having sex.
This is a lovely segue into what do you do on your videos at the minute?
They're all solo, so they're all solo with toys. There's obviously custom content where men just really want you to say their name, stuff like that. So
that sounds like it's really difficult to do, isn't it? John.
All right, Dave. Yay. This is great, Dave.
How's it going, Eugene?
Eugene. Fuck.
Oh, Eugene, that's massive. Go on. Give it to me harder.
Oh, Eugene, that's great, hey.
I think I'd make a great OnlyFans.
You would be brilliant. Eugene, that's powerful.
So, what kind of stuff do the men want when they want custom?
They just want you to say their name. They just want like videos of you stripping, dancing, rubbing oil in yourself. That sort of like.
Any really weird stuff?
So I had a message one time, it's actually on Twitter. He wanted me to use him as my personal toilet.
Oh my gosh. So virtually use him. So
no,
I
feel like he wanted me, like he was like, will you please like basically shit and piss on me?
My goodness.
And I'm like, mate, like,
that people have.
Are you going to wipe my arse as well? Or
oh my gosh.
I was all, okay. No, I didn't reply. I was like, mate, that's where I draw the line. Piss and shit's where I draw the line.
Okay.
Like, that's not happening.
Fair. You should maybe put that in your profile so they don't even bother asking.
Oh my God, don't even be asking for piss or shakes. It's not happening unless I'm sending a stool sample to my doctor. You're not getting it. Fuck off.
So at the minute it's videos of yourself, but I did hear from a little birdie being you, that you are going to start collabs.
Yes. So I'm collabing next week. I think it's next week with a star. There's a few girls. It's all girls in London. I'm not going to release who it is just yet, but it's a big reality star.
And will that be on your OnlyFans?
That'll be on my OnlyFans.
And her OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I assume she has it too.
Yeah.
Okay. And how does that work? Do the pair of you just get together, or does...
There's a whole load of us girls going to, so we'll pay for like the penthouse. We're going to get a penthouse and the photographers and all, so we'll all bunch in, pay for it all, and then we'll all do whatever level we're comfortable with. So there's some girls there only going for like photos and videos of themselves and not even topless. They're only in it for the glamour, so they'll just dress up and be happy enough to do whatever. But then the girls that want to do the X-rated stuff will get together and do it. Now, I've never collabed before, so I'm very new to this as well. I'm straight, I've never done anything with a girl before, so I'll be like, oh, I have to be a lesbian for the day, this is great.
Okay, so you're not bi currently?
No.
But are you open to being bi?
Do you know what?
Do you think it might tickle your pickle once you get there?
I don't know. I've been thinking this, and then because I was joking with my best friend, we were in Ibiza, and I was like, what if I become a lesbian? What if I love it? And then be like, she's like, nah, you like dick too much. So no, I was saying to her, we were having this discussion about sexuality and stuff and being very open about it. And I was like, for me, I don't know if I'm actually attracted to certain genders or people. Like I can't say that I've ever been attracted to a female, and I don't know if I could have a relationship with one. But for me, it's more about somebody's energy and who they are as a person. Like I do like big men and that sort of thing, but I could easily fall in love with somebody that doesn't even match my physical requirements because of their energy. So I'm very much about somebody's energy and their presence and the way they make me feel, and that they could be female or male. Again, it's never been a female, but I'm totally open to it being, I don't know what that's called. Is it pansexual? No, it's not asexual. I don't know
not sure what it's called, but
I don't know the names for everything now because there's that many.
And do you think then that you'll the next step after a lesbian scene will be a scene
male
with a man?
scene, yeah.
And do you think that then there's always going to be that progression to doing more and being more outrageous? Because is there a sense that, okay, so I've done it now with all the dildos and my fans want to see more and I want to make more money, therefore I know girl on girl is going to do it for me, and now then they want to see me with a man. So when does it end?
There's only so much you can do.
There's only so much you can do.
And then you have to, actually I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that.
Oh, go on.
I don't know. It's going to say then you have to start like looking at horses and all. But that's bestiality and I'm not for that. That's illegal. That's why I was like, I'm not going to say that.
That's okay. We're very open-minded here on the Lower Down.
But we're not doing that. Okay?
No, that's okay. I know that. I know. It was only a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose there's only so much you can do. But did you go into the OnlyFans back in February as a solo artist thinking, I'm going to stay solo? Or did you always have it in your head that you were going to be doing collabs?
I always knew I was going to progress because I always knew that I wanted to do porn. always knew that I wanted to do porn. When I was 16, I went to Tech and I studied TV and film. And I never finished the documentary, and my teacher's probably watching this going, she's a dick. But I done a documentary on porn. So I studied the industry. I was always fascinated by the industry because I view it as art. And I know that people look at me and go, nah, I view it as art. I look at the way people's bodies curve and I look at the art form in it. And I know that for a lot of people it's just sexual, but for me it's not. It's a lot deeper and it's so much energy exchange in that. And I know that I have went onto my TikTok and said, people can say what they want, but so much of, me and my therapist talked about this actually, so much comfort can come to somebody from porn and from sex and from viewing it online and talking to the people. I think the biggest thing with OnlyFans is that they get to talk to us. It's actually us. Whereas if you just go onto like the likes of Pornhub or whatever, you don't get to talk to the models. Whereas people get to talk to us, and some men just are lonely and want to talk to you. So there's so much more like deeper meaning to what I do than just get my kit off and do whatever I want to do. For me, it's an art form. I always knew that I was going to progress. I always knew that I was. Is there the element of always pushing it? Could be. I'm a very all or nothing person anyway. So if I push it a bit, I probably will push the boat out a little bit more, but only if I feel comfortable and only when it feels right in my body. If I get to a point and I say that enough's enough, then that's it. I'm very, very fluid. So I don't know now exactly where I'll say no, but I will literally, I am the sort of person that even if I go to the shoot to do something and I say, no, the energy's off here, I'm gone. That's it, I'm done. I will not be forced into anything. I will not be peer pressured into anything. If I get to literally the moment before we're about to begin and I'd say, no, I don't want to do this, I will leave. That's it. I will not be pressured into anything I don't want to do.
Do you think though that porn at the minute, it shows a side of sex that isn't reality for a lot of couples now, and certainly for what the thing that I would worry about, porn is so accessible now for young kids, and you have boys that haven't even kissed a girl yet having access to videos that depict women being treated really badly by men, and you know, there's no consent even. There isn't even a, not that consent needs to be discussed. Do you want this? Oh yes, I do. But although that is what consent is, I think. But there's also body language consent too, where someone will know that someone is feeling something and want it. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that's then for the parents. So I have a son and a daughter, and when they get to the right age, I will sit them down and I will explain to them that porn's not real. Because nobody sat down with me and told me that porn wasn't real. And we did have this idea that porn, that's what sex is, and it's always been accessible. It's just obviously now we have a lot more. We have tablets and iPads and phones and that sort of thing. I think then that becomes a case of we need to sit down at home with our kids and go, you can, at the right age, watch porn or do whatever, but it's not real. And that's whenever we sit down and go, X, Y, and Z happens, but it's not real, and that's not how it happens in life, and this is how it happens, and explain to them what can happen, what does happen. I've already said, like, I'm very big on consent, to the point if I say to my kids, can I have a kiss, and they say no, that'll be it. If I'm tickling them and they say no, that's it. I'm very big on consent, so I model that for them. So I have a son and a daughter, and when obviously age appropriately, I will sit down and be like, don't ever do this, don't ever do that. One of my things for my son especially, if he's straight and sleeping with females, even males, don't ever sleep with a girl that's drunk.
Yeah.
Never. It doesn't matter if you're drunk. Do not ever sleep with a girl, because she cannot consent to that. She's drunk. She can't consent to that. And it's the same if they want to sleep with males. Don't do it. Don't do it when you're drunk.
I think it's easier said than done though.
It is.
Because
we've all done it. Yeah, we've all done it.
There's always been situations where people have done things when they've been drunk and they wake up the next day and maybe regret it.
Yeah.
So I think it's about more than having a conversation of don't do this. It's about maybe giving them the scenarios. Yes. If this does happen, this could happen. And just you need to really think about things. So
yeah, you have to have
your son being 8 then.
6.
Oh, your son's 6 and your daughter's 8.
Yeah.
So they don't know what you do currently.
They don't know what I do. My daughter has seen the OnlyFans thing on my wee key ring and she's asked me what OnlyFans is, and I've just said it's a website for models. She's too young. She doesn't understand. But I'm very, very sex positive and very open with them, age appropriately. So obviously her little mind and his little mind can only deal with so much right now. But there's going to be no shame and me coming out and telling them what I do. There's never going to be any shame around sex, around periods, around any sort of sexual education that needs to happen, masturbation. Everything's going to be talked about in my house, and it is never going to be shameful. I'm going to set them up with education so that they don't ever feel like they have to go out and look for it elsewhere. I'm going to be their source of education, and I'm going to be very open with them. But there's this fear that if you talk too openly with them, they're going to end up doing X, Y, and Z. So studies have actually shown the opposite, that if you're very sex positive with your kids and you teach them, the chances of sexual abuse decrease because they know things are wrong. They know X, Y, and Z shouldn't be touched. I'm, again, very protective of my kids, so they know boundaries. They have their own boundaries, and I respect the boundaries, and that's how I model to them how to have boundaries and how to respect boundaries. I have to make sure they respect my boundaries as well, because I do have ADHD, so I am sensory overloaded at times, and I will explain that to them. So it's just going to be no different than me explaining, I've got ADHD and I need this boundary, or somebody's got that and they need this boundary. It's all going to just be a big open conversation, and we're not going to be shameful of it.
And if your daughter decided to go into the industry herself, what would you think?
I would have absolutely no issue with it. I don't see any issue. I would completely support her, and I would feel that it's probably safer for her having a mum that's already been in the industry to go into the industry, because I know the do's and don'ts, and I know obviously every single industry has its risks, so knowing them is much more beneficial.
Okay, so do you think you could become like the Kris Kardashian?
Absolutely. I'm going to be momager. Okay. I've already told Penelope this. I've said to her, I'm like, I'm going to be momager, and she's like, what's that? And I'm like, I'll manage you.
You'll find out.
She's amazing at art, so she wants to be an artist, and I'm like, yep, 100%. I am the sort of mum that if my kids tell me they want to do anything, I'll be like, that's it, we'll do it. I'll get you there. For me, I feel it in my heart that my daughter's going to be something big. I think my son's probably going to go the opposite way and be into like gaming or that sort of thing. For her, I feel like I'm creating this sort of platform for her to step onto. I'm going through all the shit so she doesn't have to. She might never go into the industry. It probably will never be her thing. I just have this feeling that she is going to do something big with her life, and I'm creating this platform the same way I'm creating this platform, but in a different way for my son. So I do think she's going to go into the limelight. She has been offered modelling contracts left, right and centre since she was born. She's absolutely stunning. Now I do keep them all offline. Nobody knows what they look like, but she does want to go into that sort of like YouTube. But that's the thing now, isn't it? Kids want to do the YouTube thing and they want to do that. So for me, I'm like, if I'm already in the industry, that's a stepping stone for her that she doesn't need to worry about. And I will hopefully have all the financial, sort of emotional, all the support that I can think of there in place for both of them to do what they want to do in life.
And do you worry about them being teased about their mum's job when they get older?
Obviously.
Particularly your son.
I know everybody says that, and I'm like,
actually, and that's
awful, yeah.
It's awful for me to even say that. I think it's because I have 3 sons.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's the majority.
But I do think that boys would slag boys more about someone's mum. Like, the way Asher, I had your ma last night. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How do you answer that? How do you think that you might deal with that?
I deal with it in the way that if it came about anyway, like I'm a mum and I always get this question and it's the same every time. I will deal with bullying or teasing or whatever it is in the way that I would deal with it whether I was in the industry or not. I was bullied my whole life and my parents weren't in the industry. So bullying isn't just because of your parents' career. It can be anything. Obviously this adds another element, but I will be there with them through all of it. And by the time that it comes round to that, obviously they're going to get a little bit of X, Y and Z, but I'll be there with them, and hopefully I'm going to bring them up in such a way that they'll be like, what the fuck, this doesn't, like, why would you care? But then there's going to be somebody else to worry about. My stuff, I'm going to be old soon, so there's going to be somebody else to worry about, and we're only getting more open as generations go on. So to be honest, by the time my kids are up at that age, there could be something else that isn't OnlyFans that's so much more interesting than it's getting very open. So my thing is that there's going to be something else to worry about then than me, but I will deal with it.
You said you're getting old now. What age are you now?
31.
So how long do ladies last in this industry?
Listen, there is GILF categories here. I could be a granny and be like, yes, come on the fuck.
But there is.
Absolutely. There's fetishes for everything.
There absolutely is. There is a shoe for every foot.
Oh my God. Yep. So I could last until I'm in the care home. I could be in the care home being like, come on, doctor.
Yeah.
I'm on the fuck. Mum, make content with me. Do you know what it is? So, aye.
Okay, so you don't have a long-term plan for it yet, do you? Or do
I have
you?
a long-term plan for life, but the OnlyFans is a stepping stone. It's not going to be the end goal. I am doing my degree.
What are you doing your degree in?
Philosophy and psychology.
Okay, so where are you in your degree now? Are you...
So I've done 2 years. So I've now deferred so that I can, because the gym and all got really busy. So I'm kind of like in the middle of it. I will go back to it. But my plan is to do my doctorate. I will, if it takes me 10 years, I will do it. I will do my doctorate and that'll be it. And I want to have this, I always talk about it. My passion is helping people. And this is the thing as well, I don't like labels. So I like to be, I can be a really good mum and I can be this and I can be that. There can be so many strings to my bow and I don't need to be labelled or boxed in. My thing, I hate being boxed in and I hate being labelled. So I can go on and do my doctorate and be Dr. Meghan O'Neill that does OnlyFans. And people will be like, oh my God, this is scandalous. I can't believe, that sort of, I want to open all these sort of doors for people and go, you don't have to be boxed in. You can be X and you can be Y and you can be Z and you don't have to follow one path. You can diverge here and go there and you can try all of these different things and still not be boxed in. You can be who you want to be. So my thing is that I'm going to do all these things and I'm going to show people out there and go, you can do all these things and you don't have to be boxed into one thing. You don't have to be labelled. You don't have to be put into category and closed in there. You can decide also at any time you don't want to do any of it anymore and you can change. And there's this thing of people are very rigid and it's like you go this, you do this and you do this. For me, I'm very fluid and I'm very flowy and I'm like, I'll decide to do that and then I might come away and do this and I might do that. Also doesn't help with ADHD, so I get bored of things and I'm like, great, that's enough of that. I'm going into this. So for me...
Yeah, you jump from one topic to the other.
I
think that makes it interesting.
Listen, that's the way I am. I'll not change it.
You don't actually plan to make a load of money now, buy a house and retire.
No, my plans are much bigger. I'm never leaving the industry. I will always be in the industry in a way and I'm never leaving. I will not leave this earth without changing something. I am here to change and to make change and I feel that in my soul, and no matter how hard it gets, where I sit in my house and cry and go, is this worth it? Because I have lost people due to this. I've lost friends and family and I'm sitting here now, only 2 of them, but I'm going, is this worth it? Is this worth it? And then I remember, I'm like, there's a bigger picture here. Keep going. You know in your soul what you have to do.
You've lost them because they didn't accept you did.
They didn't accept what I did. And to me, if somebody doesn't accept you, see you later. If you're not hurting anybody, this is my thing. If you're not hurting anybody, do whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever in life you want. As long as you're not hurting anybody. I always say, as long as animals aren't involved and you're not hurting anybody, do whatever you want. Literally, the scope. There's no cap on what you can do. It might not make sense to the people, but it doesn't have to. And if you lose people that weren't for you, they were never your people. When you start being authentically yourself, you align yourself for the right people to come in. So if you're a wee bit off and you're a wee bit like, oh, I don't know where I'm going in life, sit down with yourself, meditate, let it come in. Ask your spirit guides to tell you what your path in life is. You will get the message clear and then you go for it. Fuck what the people say, because people are always going to have something to say.
Yeah. And what about men? Are you able to have relationships with men while you do this job?
I have zero interest. I did have a partner there for a while and he was absolutely all for OnlyFans. He had no issue with it, absolutely no issue with it whatsoever. And there are men out there that don't have any issue with it. For me, when I had kids, people would have said to me, oh, well, that's going to narrow down the men for you now because men don't want mums, single mums. And I was like, good, because them sort of men aren't for me anyway. So for me now, if I get a partner, if I get a relationship, that person is going to accept me as I am. And if I have no interest in settling down, and I have not settling down because I am completely content, but I have no interest in having a relationship. That relationship that I had proved to me, it was only a couple of months, it proved to me I don't have time for a relationship. I really don't. And I can't give my all to a relationship because I'm building my career. I had the kids first and now I'm doing my career. But the person that's going to come into my life that might be for me, I might never meet them. That's fine with me. I feel so happy and fulfilled that I don't feel like I need a partner. I have amazing relationships with my friends and my family and my kids, and I feel already fulfilled with that. So for me, a partner coming in isn't anything that I want, but also me doing the career that I do narrows them way, 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 way down And they're actually the only men that I'd be interested in anyway. So if they can deal with the OnlyFans, they can deal with me, because I have a very scandalous personality anyway. So it's so much better for me.
And then how do you protect yourself emotionally from being in this industry?
That's a very good question. You have to remind yourself why you're in it. You have to remember your why, and you have, whenever people do try and shake you up a bit, you have to remember who you are as a person. This is why I say it's so paramount that you know exactly who you are to your core. You have to have extremely strong self-belief and extremely strong self-esteem and confidence in yourself, that you know what you're doing, because people are going to rock the boat, and people are going to say things, and people are going to make you question. Like, I'm very resilient because I've been bullied literally from I was a child, but I've always been very, very strong in who I am.
Why did people bully you, Meghan?
Do you know I was bullied because I was small?
Really?
Always. It was always the thing, and I could never understand it. Even from a young age, I've been like, why are you bullying me because of that?
Yeah.
And then because I grew up and in my family I had to be tough, so there was always this thing of being macho and being tough, and I would fight a lot. I used to get into a lot of fights and stuff, so I think that I got the reputation of being very feisty and being very fighty, so people then wanted to take a dig at you, and people nearly wanted to prove to themselves that they were tough by bullying you. Now, I never seen it as bullying then, because I was very reactive. I was always I was like a wee terrier. Like, if you'd have bullied me once, then that would have been
A
it.
wee cat.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
You'd have bullied me once, and that would have been it. I'd have smacked you. That was it. Like, it never really lasted that long, but it was constant. And I think that it was always about me being small. And I love being small. So I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always bullied.
And was it by groups of people?
Oh, yeah. I was jumped. Yeah. Loads of times.
Okay. Goodness.
Yeah. But it toughened me up, and it never gave me this sort of complex that, like, I don't know, it just made me strong. Like, I never felt weak. I always felt very, very strong, and like I could handle anything then. And then life has thrown everything at me. So I'm like, I'm so resilient, and I know myself so much that comments online, and if you don't want to be my friend, that's okay. It's not going to shake me.
Okay. You did say that you've been through a lot, and we did discuss your brother there. Just at the start, you said that he was murdered.
He was murdered.
How did that happen?
So my brother was a heroin addict. He got into the wrong crowd, and he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He'd actually come off drugs at the time, and he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. There was an altercation broke out, and the fella, one stab. That was it. Freak. Just where he hit the right place, and that was it.
And how old was your brother at
25.
the time? And how old
young.
were you?
21.
My God.
It was awful. Absolutely awful. Watching my parents lose a child was worse than me losing a brother. Watching them lose a child was...
Is he your only sibling?
So no, I'm the youngest of 4.
Okay.
So I have 2 older brothers, and then Tina, and then me, my sister. So I was the youngest of them all, and then obviously Kevin was murdered.
That's so sad.
Awful. Horrendous. But again, as I say, life has thrown everything at me. So I can deal with it. And I think that's why my parents are so open about it as well, because they're like, we've really lost a child.
They just want you to be happy.
Just be happy.
And how long was he dependent on heroin for? Was it from a young age? Was it...
He started drugs when he was quite young. He was maybe 11, 12.
Oh goodness, yeah, that's young.
And he was a perfect candidate for ADHD, as the doctor would have said. So he had that sort of wanting to regulate thing in him. So he turned to drugs, and before we knew it, he was on to everything. And heroin, maybe a few years. Okay. But he took 28 overdoses. He was always overdosing. I was there when he overdosed. Like, it was constant.
Overdosing deliberately or not?
Sometimes deliberately, okay. Sometimes not.
Okay. I'd love him.
I know.
And your poor parents, oh my goodness.
Horrendous. So
you have had quite an amount thrown at you.
It's been colourful. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a colourful life.
But you're still so very young. You say that like an old, wise woman.
I feel old. I have a very old soul. Like, obviously I'm Buddhist, so we believe in reincarnation. Like, I can remember my past lives. I've been here loads of times. And I think that's why I have this very light-hearted humour about the way people are so angry and uptight, because I'm like, oh child, just wait until your next life, just settle down, it's okay, don't get so angry, don't get so upset, because we're not getting out here alive. None of us are getting out here alive. So I think that people have this idea, their belief system is that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do everything by the book, and then I'm going to be better than you and I'm going to go to a better place than you. For me, because I've already lived past lives and I can remember dying, I'm like, no, You're not. We're all going to the same place. We are all going to the same place. So just settle down. It's okay.
Okay. And were you raised Catholic?
I was raised Catholic.
Okay.
And switched to Buddhism when my brother died. I never believed in Christianity. I never believed in a God. I never believed in Jesus. I never had any interest in it. I went to a Catholic school. I was taught by nuns, and I was always put out of class because I'd be like, do you know, I think it sounds a wee bit like magic. There's somebody floating up there in the sky. Get out of my class. Don't you dare say that. Get out. And I'd be like, okay, bye. And I used to sit outside and be like, hey to everybody. Okay. I had no interest in religion. I never believed in it. From a young age, I remember dying in my past life. I've always said to my mum that I died in the Titanic. From literally, she's like, from you could speak, you've told me that. I remember it all. And I've always said it. And I'm like, I remember dying in my past life. And I remember who I was. And I had a husband and I had kids and blah, blah, blah. I can remember what the room looked like. And I can remember that moment of dying. So I remember all that like a dream. It's like a memory that you know didn't happen. So for me, I'm like, this is all pure bullshit. We're not even going to be here in 100 years. We'll be in a different life. So I was raised Catholic, but I never believed in it.
Okay. And then what's your most favourite thing about your job?
The freedom.
Okay.
Freedom of expression. I get to express myself in every way I want and nobody can tell me no.
And what's the least favourite part of your job?
The bullshit that you have to listen to people crying about it the whole time.
As in giving out to you about it?
Grating and gurning and, oh, you're doing
gurning,
this.
That's such a Northern Ireland term. Gurning means whinging.
And grating means
my
whinging
mum and
too.
dad use that term.
Gurning. Stop your gurning. Quit your gurning.
It's only someone from the north that'd hear that. So it's the cribbing and the giving out.
Aye.
You said that someone had sent videos or pictures of your OnlyFans to the principal of your children's school.
Mm-hmm. And I get no money for it. I'm raging. Excuse me, if you looked at that, I need money. Yeah, but they never even mentioned it to me because they were like, we know the kids are so cared for that this is whoever she does in her own times and nothing to do with us. I have a lot of friends and professional friends in like child services and stuff. And they're so supportive. They're just like, you're raking it in. Like your kids, like we know you and we know your kids are so cared for. You are literally raking it in. I had this discussion with the doctor actually. He's a mental health doctor and he's worked with both adults and children. And he's like, Megan, I can tell you this now. He was like, from all the thousands of people I've worked with, not one of them have ever come to me because of their parents' career.
Yeah.
He's like, so you'll be all right. One of the leading mental health crisis reasons is child poverty. We know that from all over the world, the studies done. So I'm like, my kids aren't going to have that. So settle down. You're all right, everybody. Calm down.
And do you ever have any other parents in your children's classes not wanting to do play dates or being a little bit odd about?
I see, I'm odd. I'm odd about it anyway, so I wouldn't actually know. Now, the kids around here, everybody knows what I do, and they still go to play dates that I know the parents, and they still go out and play in the street, and they still have all their friends. There's been nobody that's actually come away. Now, I do know there is parents that talk about it because it's a small town, I hear everything, and I know that there is parents that say X, Y, and Z, but at the end of the day, I'm sitting up here, loving life, raking it in, making a fortune, happy as Larry. I can bring my kids away everywhere I want. And they're sitting at home worrying about me. And I'm like, seriously, if that's all you have to worry about, then go and sort your life out. You're clearly not living authentically because you should be living in a way that you don't care. Like, cause I genuinely don't care what anybody else does with their life. I don't know what the drama is. I don't give a fuck what anybody's doing with their life because I'm so happy in mine. So for me, I know that the people that are like, oh my God, go and sort your own shit out, because let's be honest, if I started to uncover your skeletons, your husband's probably cheating on you, you've probably cheated on him, you're probably all unhappy, blah, blah, blah. You're probably an alcoholic, you're probably sitting there with all the skeletons in the closet. Settle down, say nothing. So I don't have any of that. So before you can judge me, look at yourself.
I did have a question for you, but I already know the answer, because I think that people assume that you're just taking videos yourself and masturbating all the time to videos. One of the questions I had, are there times that you would just rather curl up in your PJs? But I get the impression that you do that a lot. Do you? Just on the couch, curled up,
absolutely,
makeup off, just yourself?
I don't really wear makeup. I never actually wear makeup. I only wear makeup for things like this, for appearances. But I game a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a real nerd. I sit and read. You should see, I have a full library. I made a full wee alcove bit in my living room into a library. Like I read a lot. I love reading. I sit and game. You know, me and my kids will sit in the PlayStation and we have so much fun. I'm a real nerd. People don't realise, people think I live this big extravagant life and I'm like, nah, I sit in the house with no makeup on.
You're ruining the illusion, Megan. You
Listen,
might get some unsubscribers now. Let's pretend that all you do
I'm
all
always
day.
sexy. Never wake up like a mess, swear to God.
I gather you never want to go back to your normal job.
I'm unemployable anyway. I get this all the time, especially with my neck tattoo. Oh, you're unemployable. And I'm like, listen, Sally, I don't think that's why I'm unemployable.
Yeah.
I think it's because I've been shoving things up me on the fucking internet. That's why my employers will be like, nah.
Any other tattoos to come?
Oh, well, I'm getting my leg done. I've got this arm done. I've got my throat done. Getting this leg done.
Do you have the other leg done?
No.
So you're going to do just one leg?
Yeah.
You'd never touch your face?
Don't know. I would love one on my face just up above my eyebrow, but I'll see.
Okay. Oh, I don't think you should touch your face. I love the neck one. I do, and I can
see
really
now that you said that, I've went right. I need to do my face now.
Oh, damn it! I can really appreciate the art that goes into tattoos, and I have a good friend who has beautiful tattoos, and she's got one on her chest going all the way down. It's like a fire coming up. I can appreciate yours being lovely, but I wouldn't do it myself.
Yeah,
but I don't think you should touch your face.
We'll see.
It's not for me to choose, obviously. It's your own choice. I think, is there anything else that you'd like to say before I ask you the two questions that I always ask people? Is there any information that you think people should know about the industry that
I think
is probably a misconception out there? Because you seem like a lady that really knows what she's about.
Yeah.
Now, and I would have thought that talking about something like this, like what you said, maybe promoting it to young girls, they think, oh, this is a really easy way to make money.
No.
It's almost like saying, oh, well, here's the pill. And you're saying then if you're promoting the pill or you're talking about the pill, that's promoting sex. You know, that kind of thought.
Yeah. This is why people will say to me online, like, why do you talk about the hate so much? And I reply to all the hate comments because I find them really funny. I personally find them really funny. But it's also to promote that side of it for people, because I don't want young girls and young men thinking, young females and young males going, oh my God, this is so easy. No, you need to know the hard truth about this is that you are going to lose people. You're going to get bullshit. A lot of people can't handle it. They go into it thinking it's going to be easy and then they can't handle the shit and they get out of it. So this is why I promote that side so much. And I talk about the hate and I talk about it so much because I don't want anybody to get the idea. And that's why I'm very open and honest with people about it as well. Like I do sometimes cry and I do some, not at the comments, but at the more sort of the police coming to the house to do welfare checks and like that sort of shit. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Because what people have called?
People have said that I was doing porn in the house and there was large groups of men coming into my house. So that was the allegation. The police, and they arrived and they laughed and they were like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like anybody that knows me knows that because I am so witchy and weird, I have a threshold in my front door that you're not getting in over my front doorstep unless I like your energy. I don't let men into my house. I don't date men. I don't sleep with men. There's never men around my kids. The only men that come into my house is my brother-in-law, my son's dad, and my daddy. That's it. Like, you know, like everybody knows that and everybody laughs about it. So I always promote the idea of, yeah, it's amazing and I love it because it's my career choice, but don't go into it unless you can deal with all the hate. Like it's not for the faint-hearted. It is, you have to have really tough skin, and this is why I talk about it so openly, because I don't want people, my thing is helping people. I don't want to ever hurt anybody, and I don't want to push this out here and then go, like I'm going to talk about what I love and my experience of it, but I don't want for somebody else to go into the industry thinking it's amazing because I've said it's just amazing, and then they end up going, I need to kill myself because I can't fucking handle this. Do you know what I mean? And this
you
is
are
why
32 as well.
31.
Oh, 31, excuse me.
31,
excuse
my
me.
God.
So you're 31. You know,
I'm a woman.
You're a woman,
yes,
and an adult who has lived a life. I think it's very different for someone who's 18, 19 going into this who hasn't even yet reached their 20s.
This is why I've said no to working with females that age, because I'm like, a female offered me a substantial amount of money just to promote her. And I just said to her outright, I says, what age are you? She sent me the photos and I looked at them and I was like, what age are you? And she was like, I'm 18. And I was like, sorry, love, like I'm not working with you. Like I can't do this. I was like, I feel like you're too young and you might get somebody else that'll work with you, but I'm not, because I feel like you're far too young. And at 18, I know what I was like at 18. Yes, I've went into the industry that I always wanted to be in, but I've also lived another life and went, this definitely is what I want. I went and done other things first. It's not an industry that you can just get into and just step out of, because once it's out there, it's out there. It's never going away. Yes, there'll be other people to talk about, but you have to know everything. And this is why I talk about it all. You have to know the full spectrum of what you're getting involved with before you step into it. Because if you aren't sure, completely sure, it will fuck you up, because the industry will chew you up and spit you back out, and you'll be left on your own because there is zero support. So this is why I feel so passionate about setting up something for support for females and males that want to go into it.
Okay.
So that's my sort of like path I want to go on. I want to be there to help people. And my degree will feed into that as well, because obviously I'm doing psychology and philosophy. So that'll all feed into the one thing, and I will be there helping
This is
people.
the GILF talking now. This is the 10 years, 20 years time. Or not even, maybe sooner rather than later.
Could be.
Yeah.
Who knows? No, this is what I want to do in the very near future. I want to set up something that is going to help people. So I'll be a charity organisation of some sort to help people wanting to go into the industry for advice, have therapists, that sort of thing. It's going to be, like, my thing has always been, like, I have a female in the gym. It's always been female wellness. So whilst I'm not going to say men aren't allowed to have the support, obviously they are, but it will be targeted towards females, and it will be targeted towards supporting, but it'll not only be just for females wanting to go into the industry. My whole thing, my whole ethos in life is helping people. So I will be using this as a platform to go, and I'm going to help, and I'm going to go and do talks, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to make sure that the people out there that want to go into the industry have somewhere safe.
It's actually like being like an advocate for sex workers.
Yes.
And showing them the way, if the way that they want to go is that, and that's their path and their calling. So
that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to be the face for it. Because I've done it. I always say, if you want to see the change, be the change. If you want the world to be a better place, you have to do it. So for me, this is perfect, because I want to do this. And this is why I feel so passionately about it, because this is the career I want to choose. And because I'm not allowed to choose that career, and it's not that I'm not allowed, it's that I get so much shit for choosing that career. I want to change that for people. I want to go, no, you can't, you can do it. Of course you can. But come to me first and we'll sit down and we'll talk about it, and you'll know, go away, have the tools to decide. And then if you want to do it, I'll be here to support, and I will have a team of people. This is what I'll set up. I will have a team of people to support people that want to go into it, because it is going to be hard, and it is hard. And I want to change that. And I want to be an advocate for people wanting to go into the industry to do it.
You need to set up your own OnlyFans platform.
Oh my God, I could.
Could you imagine? Why not?
What about you?
The world is your oyster. Have you had any calls from America? The only reason I ask you that is because I always thought America were always so much more forward thinking about this kind of thing than, say, this part of the world. Are you looking to get into some kind of the adult industry over there, or promote yourself?
So you can't travel to America without a working visa to work in America. So any sort of collaborations, you would need to do them outside of America. Now, there is a couple of actors I'm looking at in America. I'm not going to say their names, but I am going to reach out to them. One in particular, everybody probably know who it is, but he follows me on Twitter, so I am going to reach out to him and be like, I want you to be my first sort of break in the industry. Whether it happens or not, I don't know, because I don't know how to get in contact with him, but I'll make it happen.
I've no doubt that you will.
Yep.
You seem like a woman on a mission, and you're very comfortable with yourself, and I think you speak very articulately about the subject, which is why I was absolutely delighted when you agreed to come on. Can I ask you what advice you'd give young people today?
Be authentic to yourself. Sit down with yourself and think about what it is you want in life. Don't worry about what the people are going to say. Do not worry about what the people are going to say. No matter how weird and out there and strange your idea of life may be, fucking go for it. You are not here to play it small. You're not here to sit in a wee bubble and keep everybody else comfortable. You're here to make people uncomfortable. You're here to fucking go for it. Go for your dreams. Shoot for the sky. Shoot for the moon. Do it. You will succeed. You might not succeed the first time. I had many businesses that failed before I realised what I wanted to do. But just remember what it is in your heart that you want to go for, and go for it. And fuck the people. It doesn't matter what they say.
I like that. What is the meaning of life, Meghan?
The meaning of life is to create a better place for everybody to live in. I think the meaning of life is we are here to create beauty and art, and to love, and to give love and kindness, and to be compassionate, and to make it a better place. It kills my heart that the world is in such a state, because I just look at all the beauty in it and think we should all be loving each other. So the meaning of life for me is to create something sustainable for the future generations to come into, but to be who you are and doing that. We all have our own missions, but we just can't tap into it, especially in the Western world. We're pushed away from that sort of spirituality side of things, and we can't tap into what it is we're actually meant for. So if you can tap into that, talk to your spirit guides, talk to your gut, and realise what it is you're here for, because we all have talents and we all have special gifts, but we just don't uncover them. So the meaning of life is uncovering that, because what is in you is meant to make the world a better place. People aren't meant to be bad. They get corrupted, or they get, I believe in love and I believe in good. People do bad things, but people aren't bad. We're not inherently bad. People are not bad. The world makes us bad, and unfortunately some people live in a way that it's all they've known and it's all they've been modelled. But the meaning of life is not to be that way. It's to change, it's to make everything better and to love.
Meghan, it has been an absolute pleasure. The very best of luck with your career path.
Thank you so much.